Monstar, universal enemy #1, has escaped from penal planet 10. Monstar has freed the most dangerous criminals in this or any other galaxy, and now he's terrorizing Limbo.
Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike, and today I want to talk to you about the Ramen toy, SH02 Monstar with Sky Shadow. This is a Silverhawk, the second modern-day Silverhawk that has been made, and it is exciting. So I really enjoyed the Quicksilver, and I'm enjoying this one here too. It looks fantastic, and we're going to get into talking about the good and the bad, the plus and the minus. There's really not much negative to this figure, but there's a couple of minor issues that I think they're already aware of. But before I get into this, I want to say that Michael French at Retro Blasting made a video why he canceled his pre-orders for Super 7, Silverhawks, and the thing about that is that I agree with pretty much all of his points, and with that, it just makes me happier that I bought 2 of these. So I pre-ordered 2 of everything at the early bird price of $65, and I believe he was like $80, but I still am getting all of the Super 7 Silverhawks if and when they ever come out, but we've got 2 right here in front of us, so let's take a look at this Monstar coming up. All right, so here is the packaging, and it does look really good. It feels like high quality packaging. This looks beautiful all around, very well painted, well designed. Notice it does say on it Super 7 and all that kind of stuff. You will not see that with future releases. It won't say Silverhawks or Super 7 or any of that kind of stuff going forward. Bonus display stand, we're going to look at that. You can see the figure. It has the plastic, has a sunroof, moonroof, and kind of a line drawing sketch right there. So very beautiful packaging overall, and very beautiful figure. So the first thing I want to do is start out talking about the accessories, and he does include us quite a bit of hands. So we've got a fist, we've got open hand. I think this was the one that came on it, and then I put the gripping hand that can hold the gun or whatever, the rifle, and then another fist. And so with that, I'm going to show you the ease of swapping hands and putting a fist on here. There's that. And there goes a fist in place. And cursed, you spoiled my plan again, Quicksilver. So there's that. Looks pretty good. And so all the hands look good, great, well painted and all that kind of stuff. Now here is the face. Now I prefer the face that's on it to this one. Let's see if I can get it. So I'm just going to keep it in there. But you just pop it off, swap it out, just like the hands in a way. So I like that yelling, screaming face he's got on there. It's a much preferred look for me. And then the other accessory is this. Now, kind of, I guess when we get to articulation and looking at all this kind of stuff, show it. You see the back of his elbow. It's kind of hidden. And then using your extra nail there that you got, you can pull this piece out so that you can plug in this. And just did that one off camera real quick just to make sure. This one, so look how clean that elbow looks. And then you can fold up the extra piece they added in there, the extra connector piece. So it's kind of cool touches like that I like. And then plug this in here. I got to be careful. He's holding the gun on the other side. And yeah, that works. So you kind of get that look going on with him. And that works and gets the job done for the back part. That's so cool. Transparent, translucent looking pieces right there. Some fire, flame effects in there. And really they only work for the back there, but that is pretty cool overall. So now we got that on him. And then we have the next accessory. Okay, so this here, now it's really nice looking Sky Shadow. And he has articulated wings that go up and down, all the way around, all that kind of stuff. So you can do kind of stuff. The problem, this is one of the problems, that they didn't engineer really a way for it to perch. And the answer was that there's not really any information on where and how he would purchase would be something they'd make up. And I'm glad they didn't put the magnets in this one, because the magnets are cool, but they were sort of problematic before. Kind of knocked that piece off. Now I can sort of just rest it on here. So if you can get the arm flat, you can just sort of rest it on there. And for a display, that should probably work just fine and get the job done. And then there was some information about maybe you could make it perch on the shoulder and that kind of stuff. But really, it's well made, solid figure. This is a well made, solid figure. It'd stand up there. But I would have liked some sort of engineering to where it would hold on a little bit better. But at the end of the day, it looks fantastic. It gets the job done. This is how it's going to look on my shelf. So let's look at the last accessory, which is the gun. So let's pop this out here. The last accessory, the gun. So this rifle is really cool. Of course, we didn't get it back in the day, and Kenner never made one. And it's cool that they included it. It's got some paint apps here, which a matching red here and here. And yeah, that looks good. Now, I'm not sure if this is just cast in that color or if it's painted that color, but it looks great. Now, when you put the rifle on, there's a handle that you push through the hand, and then you plug the rifle in like so. Now, I did take a screwdriver. It sounds kind of scary. And I pushed it through there and kind of just wiggled it around to make enough space before I shoved this in, so I don't have paint rub off of the handle and that kind of stuff. And then you just plug this back in. So interesting. We see this in the Transformer third-party community all of the time, especially with all the Megatron guns and stuff. So this is nothing new to maybe a third-party Transformer collector like myself. So yeah, interesting design. Next up, we have a flight stand for Quicksilver, and that works, gets the job done. I'm not exactly sure like how people would want to use their flight stand, and so I mean, it seems like this. Okay, so with this past figure, there were a couple of issues that people have pointed out, like not being able to look all the way up. So I passed that along to Ramen Toys. So maybe if future releases, they'll have some fix for that for the next upcoming, 6 or 7 Silverhawks they decide to make. And then the other issue, of course, was the magnet system, to where when you pull magnets off, so they were kind of sticking. They were coming out of here and kind of staying on the face. On the head. So they come out of the face, stay on the head or whatever. So just put a little bit of glue on it, put it back together, and then let it sit for 10-15 seconds, and then pull them back apart so they can dry properly. And that's how you fixed it. It was really not a big deal. But this fly stand actually has a foot peg in it. So let's go ahead and slide this out. And let me adjust the camera. So the fly stand actually has Silverhawk logo on it, if I can get that to show up. Silverhawks. And then let's plug it in like so. And so you can have him just use it as a stand. So it doesn't have to be a flight stand. It could just be a stand. And that's awesome too. So either way, if you want to use it as a flight stand, just want to use it so that you have a little bit more support on your figure, that's fine also. So let's get down to business with this guy here. And I love the paint job. It's not vac metallized chrome, but it is a shiny paint. And I think it's a little shinier. Maybe it's just the fact that it's the red. It's a little shinier than the Quicksilver, in my opinion. But I think it's the exact same type of paint, but the red is deeper and pops so well. It is just a beautiful rendition of this character. And I just never understood why the bad guys look so boring and bland in the Kenner line. So finally getting bad guys looking awesome is fantastic. So let's do articulation, then we can also kind of look at paint apps as we go. But the head, this one, of course, this one looks awesome. Left, right, up, about that much, and down. And yeah, it looks fantastic. Excellent head sculpt. You know, this is the thing that nightmares are made of, and that's exactly what Monstar is supposed to do. Okay, so shoulder, we have the shoulder. They love shoulder pads. Like, I guess shoulder pads were so 80s. So you can go out to here. Now, when you look at their articulation, you can do things to increase range a bit, but that's about as far as we're going. Now, the whole reason this matters is for balancing this dude. So I spent a lot of time trying to get this arm just right to balance that guy, which once you've got it in your display, then that's pretty much all you need to do. But biceps, we got the bicep swivel. You have about that much range. I thought it was double jointed, but because he's so bulky, that's about all the range you're gonna get out of him. But of course, for me, that's all I'm really gonna need. And that arm's probably always gonna be holding this dude. So in editing, I noticed that the bicep was backwards, and that's how much range. It's almost the exact same range if you have it the right way versus being backwards, but figured I'd point that out. All right, so you've got a ball joint right here in the movement, and then you've got waist, so he can do quite a bit, and it looks a little bit natural in a way. Leaning down forward, he's not going to have too far of a lean forward. Leg, see if he has a drop down, because yep, he's got a drop down in the waist, so the leg can go out here. Now I'm not going to go too much further because I really don't want to rub any paint. So, and I'm not going to have him in ridiculously dynamic poses. He looks ominous and menacing the way he is. Does have a double jointed knee, but it still really gets you a 90, and the knee pad moving. Now, I think in this case, having the giant knee pad on there, because I think it does kind of work for the character, then that's great. Most of the time, I don't like this kind of a knee pad, but for this character, and of course, it looks good. It looks good. There's all kinds of built-in stylized detail in him everywhere as we're looking at this. Feet, now he does have, is it? I don't know. I don't think it's ball jointed. I think it's like it's a two-way kind of universal type of a joint, and you can get all kinds of range out of it. But you also have toe articulation, just like we did with the Quicksilver. So for comparison, comparing it to the original Kinner, I just noticed, and I never really paid attention, I just noticed that they have the spikes on the inside on the Kinner one also, so good job to Ramen Toy for that little detail that I never even paid attention to, and they caught it and put it on this figure. But looking at this, I always thought this figure here was one of the suckier. There's actually another one I thought was worse, but I didn't really think this was a great figure back in the day, and I think that the Silverhawks getting the back metallized chrome and these just looking like hunks of red plastic and stuff, kind of not so much fun. For this guy here, I mean, such a great upgrade to a Kinner classic from back in the day, and so I'm very pleased with how this looks. Size, aesthetic, and everything, but you know, you can't deny the charm of this. Now getting into Quicksilver here, this is a nice comparison to the Quicksilver. These are the two that are out right now, so if you're out looking for some Silverhawks, I think BBTS has him in stock still, and I think Ramen still has him in stock. I think it's 120 now. The early bird price was like 80 or 90, and now it's like 120 or something along those lines. But I'll try to link that down below for you. But getting together a team of these, it's really exciting. So this is the Ramen Toy family of products here. We have the 80s Commanders, which is their take on Centurions, Kinner Centurions, Kinner Silverhawks. You see a pattern here? If it's Kinner, that's awesome. I love Kinner. Kinner mask. Anyway, so I like these figures. Look at all that beautiful color on one shelf. And I want to say that although I like these, I wish they were the height of him. But that we have them, I'm happy with them. And they should be putting out another run of them later on this year or early next year. So great figures overall. And they're putting pretty much a whole line of them out. So that's going to be pretty awesome. And so I look forward to all of those releases. But yeah, this is the Kinner Ramen Toy line of products so far. All right, other comparisons here is next to Mp36 Megatron. And, you know, it's another 80s baddie that is pretty awesome. But yeah, he's not as big as like a Masterpiece Transformer scale. He's not super overly huge. He just fits in the world and scales appropriately. In the Transformers world, MP44 KO Optimus Prime with his battle damage right there. Here's how he scales with some G.I. Joe classified, so you can still kind of get to see that in this world, in the 1/12 scale, he towers over everything else like he should. Looks fantastic. So this has been my look at the Ramen Toy SH02, their take on a wonderful version of Monstar with Sky Shadow, and I think it's a great figure. So the pluses, the paint looks fantastic. lots of accessories, some stuff that I didn't even think about or even really notice, like the inside of the feet having the spikes, and including the Sky Shadow with articulation, all that kind of stuff. Fantastic. And so he is definitely fitting the bill for me. Now, a couple things I would have liked Sky Shadow to actually plug in. As you can see, I'm having really no trouble balancing them on there, but it is something that is a concern. Also, it is limited for articulation if you're one of those articulation junkies. This is not as articulated as, say, a Spider-Man figure from Hasbro. So it is a little bit less articulated, but it does give it some strong stability to stand there solid and not fall off your shelf. So I do like that. I would actually prefer that. I think the design is stylized a little bit, but that looks fantastic. And so with that, I really think it's a great figure. I haven't seen any production issues or QC issues or any problem with mine whatsoever. I'm still in on the Super 7s, but I'm more excited about Ramen Toy. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Tidarium Hanger out.
The menace of Monster! One star will find you, you